as well. All right. Let's go over the game. Got to. Raiders and Ravens last week. We see the score 26-23 in downtown Baltimore. Ravens were defeated by the Las Vegas Raiders at the end. Blew a lead, had a big lead in the fourth quarter, didn't hold on to it. Raiders kind of pull it out, absolutely pulled it out at the end. Let's see what happened here. Got a lot to talk about that's not football. We're going to do the box score here, but we're going to talk a lot this week that are not football, that is not just on the field. Got to talk about some of the decision making and all the other stuff. Gardner Minshew. I say this. People keep telling me he stinks. Every time, this is the second year in a row he's come into Baltimore and beat us late game, similar last year. It was almost a carbon copy of what happened early last year with the Colts. And I've seen him do this several times. People keep telling me, well, he's not any good. He's just this, blah, blah, blah. 276, 1 TD, 1 interception. Almost all of that was in the second half with almost no run game from, not Devontae Adams, Zamir White, 9 for 24. They didn't even try and run the ball in this game. Zamir White, no effort of running. They didn't try and run. Ravens have a very good run defense, number 1 run defense in the league. It showed. They had Devontae Adams. I think some guys are a little bit on Brandon Stevens a little bit more than I think necessary. Devontae Adams is a top 10 receiver in the league. Some people would have him top 5. Some people have him as number 1. So it was a tough day for anyway. I think Stevens' coverage wasn't that bad, actually. He made some tough catches, but this is what he does. I'm not too upset about that. Defense has to play better overall, though. Secondary, not doing that. This was a disgrace. Max Crosby had 2 sacks. He could have had like 8. We're going to show the film of Crosby Baldy breaking it down there. But this was incredible. We're going to talk about Falele, obviously. we have to. Lamar, blaming Lamar Jackson for the loss is just complete idiocy. I don't know what you were looking at. Lamar did the best he could under the lousy circumstances he had. 21 for 34, 247, 1 TD, 1 interception. Bateman kind of got a tough break. Ball bounced out of Bateman's hands there into the defender. That's pretty much all he could do there. 5 carries, 45 yards. I don't think this is on Lamar. I mean, that right side was just atrocious as well. A little more action for Henry. 18 carries, 84 yards, 1 TD. They did run Wildcat at least one time in there. Looked a little more active. He can run on the left side. On the side with the halfway decent blocking, he can run on that side. I mean, so that's definitely the case there. I still looks like to me they're not sure what to do with him. As crazy as that sounds. Better in this game. Look, Derrick Henry isn't the problem. Derrick Henry, it's not a matter of that he doesn't have anything left in the tank or blah, blah, blah. That's not it. That's not it. They don't know how to use this guy. They keep, and I've said this for years, and people are finally agreeing with me this week. In, out, personnel groupings, in, out. Got to put Justice Hill in. Got to, when you pass, you got to take him out. John Harbaugh's been doing this forever now. You got to stay with a guy and let him get going. You got to have an identity on offense. Zay Flowers had his best day so far. 7 carries, 7 receptions, 91 yards. I thought Zay was pretty good, actually. Considering the line circumstances. I had no big problem with Zay. I thought the receivers as a whole, outside of him, weren't very good. Bateman had a couple catches. Aguilar had a tough catch. Zay, that was a terrible challenge, obviously, that John Harbaugh made in that game. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. I had no idea the challenge record was so bad for John Harbaugh. It's like 4-20 or whatever. That's just, you can't do that. Can't have that. Here's some good news. Adafi Owe had 3 sacks. I thought he was dominant of Colton Miller the whole game. Outstanding. Good for him. Dafiowe, I thought, was terrific. I thought Van Oya had a sack. He was good too. I thought that they're winning up front. They're kind of not finishing these games. I think the problem is they're giving up yards in the pass game. This is the case. They're so dominant up front. Travis Jones and Manabuke getting a lot of attention. That's kind of freeing up Owe. He's performing. Van Oy was good. So they're getting something up front. It's not so much they're not getting anything up front. I think they just got to finish games as well. So Ravens lose 26-23. No business losing that game. No business losing it. No business losing to the Raiders. Raiders are inferior, are not a very good team. I don't see them as a playoff team. I see them maybe winning 6-7 games. Minshew is okay, I think, but he doesn't have a lot around him. I mean, outside of Devontae Adams, Brock Bowers look pretty good. They have some pieces there, but I mean, the elephant in the room, in the building, and everywhere is the right guard spot and the right tackle spot, which was abysmal. That's why they lost. Max Crosby could have had. He had 2 sacks. Again, like Chris Jones, I'm surprised it wasn't 5 or 6. it was terrible, absolutely terrible, to say the least. We'll go more into that. Let's talk about this week's game at Jerry's World. The Dallas Cowboys 1-1. They lost last week as well, so they're fighting back against. I don't think I've had a graphic yet since as a content creator of a 0-2 Baltimore Ravens team, but that's absolutely what we have this week. So let's take a look at the Ravens. Shannon Sharp can blame Lamar Jackson only once. That's insanity. That's insanity. Lamar is probably the reason why it's not worse than what it is. He's getting the ball out quick. He's doing the best he can. I think under lousy circumstances. 520, 2 TDs, 1 INT. Could be better. I think, like, obviously, I mean, like anybody, but I think he's doing as well as he can. Derrick Henry, same. 31 carries, 132 TDs. Gotta tote the rock more to Derrick Henry. Got to. I don't care. Gotta get it on the right side. Have him run on that right side. That'll make that right side better. If he runs on the left side, you got to start doing that more with Derrick Henry. Stop taking the back out of the game. Stop it. Stop taking him out. It's crazy. You're not helping him. Why would you bring a guy like this in if you're not going to let him get into the flow? Let him be a bell cow. Leave him in the game. Taking Justice Hill. I'm not talking about Justice Hill. But leave him in sometimes on 3rd down. It's so obvious when you put Justice Hill in. It's a pass. That's obvious. The only time you run Justice Hill, unless it's a draw, it's not there. So you run frustrated. Okay. Zay Flowers. No problem with Zay Flowers. No problem with the skill people, I think, as a whole. They're not. I really don't see a huge problem. Bateman wasn't great, but I think he kind of is what he is. He had the bad drop. I mean, he's okay. I mean, 2-ish, 3 receiver. That's kind of what he's been. Aguilar, I think, kind of is what he is. Kind of like a 3-ish, 4, really good 4 receiver. Likely didn't catch the ball as much. They still kind of struggle with what to do with Likely. I mean, I think they ought to play him more. Obviously, they ought to get him. He should be getting the ball on schedule. Should be okay. We're designing things to get the ball to Isaiah Likely. They're not doing that enough. They're not designing stuff to go ahead to send it to Isaiah Likely as well. Andrews was a little better in this game. I think he'll be fine. I think he's getting a lot of attention, obviously, because of what happens, because he's the main guy. Adafiowe, 3 sacks, I think, on the season. Let's see if he can get 10 sacks. I think the interior isn't the problem. They're stopping the run. And they're finally getting some edge rush as well. The secondary is a concern, though, for me. I think, like, not quite as good. Kyle Hamilton was on the injured list today as well. I don't know what's going on Marcus Williams not quite as good. I don't think it's been horrible. I don't think it's unfixable, but they haven't. He hasn't been himself clearly in the first 2 games. However, it's only 2 games. Let's see how that goes on. The opposition, the Cowboys, Dallas, Dak Prescott, fresh new contract, $60+ million, 472, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. I think the Ravens should do something against Prescott. I think he kind of struggles with the heat on, and I think the Ravens will absolutely have the front to actually put the heat on. I think the Dallas offensive line isn't great as well. So I think absolutely there's an opportunity there to do it. Zeke Elliott is back. That is right. After all that Zeke Elliott stuff, the contract's too big, blah, blah, blah. He goes out to New England last year. He's back. He's the number 1 back without Tony Pollard. How about that? 16 carries, 56 yards, 1 TD. Not past his prime at this point. I think like Zeke had a chance to when he was at Ohio State, he was really terrific. I think early in his career, he was pretty good. I don't think he's ever stayed in good enough shape to actually, it kind of shows after a while. I think he's there. Only because I think the familiarity he has, I think coaches will kind of do that. But I'm not too worried about Zeke. CeeDee Lamb, you should be worried. 9 receptions, 151, 1 TD. I think he is the top 5 receiver in the NFL. Certainly with A.J. Brown. He's terrific. I think definitely a lot of attention needs to be paid. Let's get 2 guys on CeeDee Lamb in this game. Stop trying to leave Brandon Stevens on an island. Stop trying to leave Marlon on an island. Things like that. Get some help for those guys. Swing the coverage over to those guys as well. Take it away. You're going to get pressure up front. Let's go ahead and do that as well. Micah Parsons. This is going to be this is, I don't even know what I don't even have to say. This is him against Daniel Folele. It's going to get that's not even competitive. You might as well put me in there. From what I've seen, this is. And here's the other thing. They're going straight for it. Guaranteed. They're going straight for it, and they should. All right. Let's see X Factor, Roger Rosengarten. Big talk as well as this week. I kind of hear all of you when you say Roger Rosengarten should be playing more than McCary. I'm not quite. I'll answer it this way. I'll say it this way. The rotation should be a true rotation. I don't know what they're doing with this 70-30 stuff. You're playing McCary more, but you're getting Rosengarten in there a little bit. I don't understand that. He was better, clearly, but I will defend it a little bit. It was a very small sample size. Now, why he's playing a lot less, I have no idea. But we're confused about a lot of things on the line. So these days. Kyle Hamilton, I don't know what's going on. I think definitely you put him as the X factor in this one. I think Kyle was not what we've seen last year so far. I think the secondary struggles are slightly overblown. The scoring around the league is way down. I said it last year, and it's worse. We haven't had really 300-yard passing. This is why the Ravens are last, partly. 2 games of 250, 270. That doesn't put you at 32. So that's what's going on right now as well. Kyle Hamilton is there as well. So he's definitely an X factor. I can't do it. I think you're going to get like Cowboys competitive in this game. I think Cowboys are going to I think the Ravens are going to be competitive, but if they're going to play that right side against Micah Parsons, I don't see a chance. I don't. I wish I could tell you something different. Cowboys 27, Ravens 24. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm sorry about the score, guys, but I don't know what to tell you. It's been a rough week, obviously, as we know, as fans, just from a game standpoint here. So let's go over this. So we're on the Ravery Sports site, which you should definitely, if you haven't had the privilege of going to, go ahead and check it out. So we're gonna go ahead and hear. Definitely check it out if you haven't been there. But we're gonna hear from the coach here.
Beat out Daniel or anybody. I think Ben's a good player. I like Ben. I want Ben to take the next step. You know, he's in what year is he in? Third year?
All right, here we go. I'll take it back to the beginning here.
If Ben had earned the job at right guard, he'd be the starting right guard. You know, so I mean, you look at the tape. You know, he didn't beat out Daniel or anybody. I think Ben's a good player. I like Ben. I want Ben to take the next step. You know, he's in what year is he in? Third year? Fourth year? He's in his fourth year. You know, Ben knows what he needs to do. If he wants playing time, he knows how he needs to play, and he knows how he needs to practice when he gets that chance. So our evaluation right now is that Daniel outplayed Ben. Just fact, straight up. Matter of fact. If we thought Ben had outplayed Daniel, he'd be the starting right guard. So if I see that Ben's playing better than Daniel, then Ben will be the starting right guard, you know, and he practices every day. So it's like just to tell all the guys, I mean, show me. And that goes, we're talking about Ben because that's the question. I love Ben. And I think Ben can be a great player. I want to see it. Just like I want to see it with Daniel. Okay, just I want to see it with all the players. So we'll keep fighting for that. And those guys will keep fighting for that. We coach our guys, and our guys compete, and we're going to continue to improve.
I don't even know how to respond to that. Like, that's what stubborn looks like. That's exactly what I put there as well. I want to pull this up as well. This was shout out the Exit 52 pal. Shout out the Flock Rundown for that. He was chopped that up. I went ahead and reached out. Excellent Ravens podcast. Definitely check him out. More short form with that. So definitely check him out there as well. But I got this here, and I want this to see it here on the screen. All right, and it says Ben Cleveland was never, this is Spencer Schultz from the Exit 52 podcast. Ben Cleveland was never given a chance to complete a route guard throughout camp. They had him playing center and elsewhere. Harbaugh deferred to the evaluation of Daniel beating out Ben. He was not even in consideration. However, the real evaluation now with 2 games in is about 5 games of Ben playing right guard. Hey, maybe use real NFL games as evaluation. All right. So he's saying to us in the presser that Daniel beat him out at guard, right? But Ben never played guard. He never played. And that's consistent with what I saw in the reports going to camp. He was at center, he was whatever. And he was asked then, like, hey, why isn't Ben Cleveland at right guard? He's been asked a couple times. Look, I've been thinking about how to mention this and talk about this. Anybody would say, obviously, with a brain or watch football at all, or fans like we are, that John Harbaugh would know more football than I would, obviously, or a lot of us, whatever. His dad was a coach, his brother was a coach. His brother played in the league. He's been a coach now for 30 plus years. So clearly he understands more than me and you and all of us. I mean, understand. But here's the thing. Like, I have been studying this all week, looking at this all week. I have been waiting for anybody to tell me that Daniel Falele was good at guard, right? Deferring to that. Hey, he knows more than I do. They know more. Eric DeCosta, they more know football than all of us. I couldn't find any. I mean, you check out my man Flack right now. Check out what we just saw at Exit 52 podcast. Check out Engraven. Check out Bobby Serial. Shout out to those. I'm going to shout them out. I mean, I can't find anyone on the national level, breaking down film. I mean, shout out Chase Daniel, shout out Brian Baldinger, shout out those guys, shout out the All 22, shout out Sip the. I can't find anyone to say that that's not right. So there's an old expression: all of us can't be wrong. All of us can't be crazy, right? If you have this many people saying to me, "Hey, maybe you should try Ben Cleveland," this is just plain old stubbornness on part of the coach. I did have a social media comment, and I posted after the last game 6 things about the game, 6 thoughts of the game at the end of the game. I've been doing that at the end of the game. The first thing somebody said, "Where's Harbaugh and Moken?" He's got problems. This is real stubborn. This is really getting Belichick-like at the end, where he just was so stubborn. He's not listening to his people, and it's got to stop. Clearly, Falele is a problem. I don't know what to say. Now, let's hope he's messing with us, and Friday he comes out and says, "Hey, man, this didn't work," or maybe in the game. I don't know what this is. I don't know if Ben Cleveland likes his wife or whatever, or what. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what this is, but I mean, this is just flat out gaslighting. I mean, I've never seen this before, and I can't even remember fans being this unanimous on something. I don't remember it. I don't remember everybody agreeing like this. So we'll see. We'll be there hopefully at Jerry's World on Sunday. Hopefully the Ravens can pull this out. But I've never seen this. I've never seen this, and I've never seen fan reaction. Like, I've never seen anything like this, where this is beyond stubborn. That's the most PG way I can put it, as well. John Harbaugh is in trouble. John Harbaugh is in big trouble. I couldn't